Okay, so good morning. World War II. So I remember last time when we finished discussing World War One, I told you to somehow, ayan, Faith Gupit noted. Okay. So I remember mentioning to you that you have to take a good look of the Treaty of Versailles, because in the Treaty of Versailles, they thought that they already concluded peace. They thought there's already an agreement, and they thought that everything will be fine. Imagine it like in a part one of a movie, and then everyone seems to be happy. And then in the end credits, there would be another scene wherein leaning towards to part two of a movie, something like that. So I imagine World War One and World War Two like that. That the big four thought that setting up the League of Nations will solve everything. Then end credits, and then came the man, Adolf Hitler, that will somehow ignite World War Two. So that's what I actually know. That's how I imagine it. So yun, grab hold to the content of the Treaty of Versailles, because that would be the reason why there would be World War II. So World War II is actually very known in history. It actually greatly concerned European countries. However, it is considered World War because these European countries are colonizer. These European countries are imperialist. So their colonies and colony rather, their colony and other countries that are associated with them um, participated in the war that is not actually their war, but the war of their imperialists, or the war of their colonists. Same way with the Philippines. It is not our war, but we got to participate in it because America is part of it. And same way with other countries in Asia, we were greatly affected because our colonizers' war is also our war. So this became World War, and it's somehow categorized as two, because the first one somehow occurred way back 1914. Okay. So World War Two happened 21 years after World War One. So imagine if a child was born at the end of World War One, that child is already 21 years old when another World War happened. So it is actually, there are a lot of accounts wherein a certain generation experience Spanish flu. They experience World War. They experience World War One and World War Two. They experience Vietnam War. They experience Cold War. So those people are actually our grandfathers and grandmothers, who are aging from yung mga nasa 90 years old na and 100 years old. If you have like grandparents, or people that are in that age, 90 to 100 years old, they are like the type of generation that experience it all. The hardships of mankind, they experience that. So if you're able to actually talk to those grandparents or elderly, who happens to talk about things nonstop, about this war, about that war, I encourage you to listen to them, because it's always nice to get a source that is actually true accounts. I remember when my mother is still alive, she's always telling me about the story of World War II, because she was able to meet MacArthur, my mother. My mother died 2 years ago. She died at the age of 85, my mother. And I remember when I was your age, my mother will always tell me stories about World War II and how she was 12 years old. And then MacArthur walked right past in front of her. And MacArthur so handsome daw. MacArthur is so tall. And my mom's like looking at him with such astonishment, and such somehow amazement. And when she's telling that to me, grabe, my enthusiasm to history was ignited because my mom was part of it. So try to have that kind of relationship to your grandparents, or anyone that could actually tell you real accounts of history. Yan. So just a short sharing to you why I am emotionally invested in World War II. So it is considered the most destructive conflict humanity has ever witnessed. All because, as I've answered a while ago, a classmate of yours, Hannah, actually asked about the destructiveness of World War II versus World War One, and I mentioned that yes, it is the most destructive mankind ever witnessed. So this war is actually between two parties or two group, the Allied nation and the Axis power. In World War One, they have a different name. In World War One, they are called as Allied Force and Triple Entente and Triple Entente and Triple Alliance. Yan. And then also, aside from Alliance, they're also called as Central Power. Central is synonymous to Axis. Kaya do not be confused when which is the central power in here. Just look at the word axis, and that is also known as central. So axis power slash central power. So these two group are composing of still the same countries that are involved in World War One. Kasi di ba, right I've mentioned to you, this is like part 2 or like season 2 of series of events that happened. So in the Allied force, the usual Britain, France, later on America. So it's like history repeat itself. If you know the flow of World War One, it's the same flow that happened in World War Two that USA joined later. Okay, and then in the Axis power, same group of individual as well, Germany, Italy, and then later on, Japan joined as well. When Japan joined, USA joined. So it's like that. Okay, so let's talk about the beginning of it. So the start of World War II. So peace efforts of the League of Nations, these are 60 nation members, has no teeth. When you say no teeth, meaning they list of the things that are not allowed to do. Let's say you're not allowed to advance your military technology. You're not allowed to conquer this land. You're not allowed to do this, not allowed to do that. All rules, but no regulation. Meaning to say, all don't do this, don't do that. But what if they do it? What will be the consequence? No consequence. That's why even there are like peace efforts, there's no regulation to that. That's why there are countries such as Germany who have the audacity to somehow violate it. It's because there's no consequence of such action. So there's this agreement or pact, the Kellogg-Briand Pact of 1928, wherein war should not be used as an instrument of national policy. The pact was a small step towards peace. So this is one of those many do's and don'ts or rules that was actually published before the beginning of World War II that they thought having such pact will actually stop war, but it did not. And as I mentioned, the bitter feelings about the Treaty of Versailles is the root cause of World War II. Because in the Treaty of Versailles, they punished Germany so much. Since Germany started World War One, they asked Germany for reparation. So when you say reparation, payment of war cost. So meaning the damages that was received by Britain, France, USA, Russia, they all get money from Germany to repay their war expenses. Aside from that, they divide Germany into two. Okay, so they somehow crippled Germany and also distributed other territories of Germany to other members of the Allied force. And another reason of the start of World War II is the rise of Adolf Hitler. So they gained power in the 1930s. So Adolf Hitler, of course, is alive during World War One, and he saw the development of World War One. He was never somehow approve of the decisions that Germany did, especially the Schlieffen Plan. That he is not actually favor of such move. Parang he feel like he could do better. If he was the leader of World War One, he believed that he could do better, but he is not. He is still young soldier during that time. So, but as time progresses, his desire to lead his nation and to avenge his nation started to grow and grow and grow until he gained power. Actually, there are a lot of information about Hitler. Just to give you a few, no one knows who are the parents of Hitler. Some said because his origin is not known. Some theories said that maybe there are really parents but do not want to claim him because of the atrocities that he did. But yun, his origin is actually unknown. Kaya there are some theory there are some theory that actually suggested that he might be son of Jose Rizal. Have you heard that there are some outrageous there are some outrageous somehow conspiracy theory that he might be son of Jose Rizal because Jose Rizal was actually able to go to Germany during that time, and probably the Jose Rizal had a child with a German woman, and Hitler is the that's one outrageous theory about him. But since no one knows his origin, continuous assumption are being claimed. So, yun. So he did. We have this question that did Hitler join the army in World War One? Yeah, he did. He did join. As far as I know, or if he did not somehow fought there, he is part of the the force. But I'm not sure if he was actually able to go to the Battle of Marne, things like that, the No Man's Land. That I am unsure of. But what I can guarantee is that he is part of the force already. Yan. So that's Hitler. Actually, a lot of trivia I would like to give to Hitler, but it will actually consume so much of our time. There's so many sources with Hitler because it's recent history. Pero let's move forward with the fascist aggression. I'm actually practicing my pronunciation with fascist because for a long period of time I pronounce it the way I want to pronounce it, fascism. Parang yan, very Tagalog, right? Very, because my pronunciation, I'm comfortable with that I'm trying to correct it because I learned, and as upon hearing other people, it's like yan na naman, fascist. So it's like there's this strong sh sound in between the fascist aggression or fascist movement, things like that. So when you say fascism, it's hard. I want to stick with my original pronunciation of it. Pero one thing with fascism, it's a belief wherein the nation or the state is the most powerful of all, and everyone should do their best to uplift the nation. So basically, if you're the kind of person who think, my country is the best country and I will do my best for my country, I'll die for my country, nobody's better than my country. If you uplift your country that way, your mind is like in a fascist mentality. Okay, your way of thinking is in a fascist way. So that's somehow what the group of Hitler, especially Adolf Hitler himself, felt, that he believed so much in Germany. Okay, he believed so much in Germany to the point that it is over the top nationalist. Parang it's aggressive already. Aggressive approach. Okay, so what happened first is like the German rearmament. So when you say rearmament, they are upgrading again. So for a long period of time, 21 years, so World War One ended, and then in that span of 21 years, Germany is upgrading their military and upgrading their weaponry. Okay, so they restore the power. These are Hitler's agenda to restore the power of Germany, to rebuild the military and boost the morale of the Germans. Because in that 21 years, Germany experienced starvation. Germany experienced a great deal of economic downfall, to the point that there are some videos wherein it's shown German people scavenging in the trash, like trying to get food in the trash because there are no food available. If there are food available, it's too expensive and their job cannot suffice the needs that they want to. That's why they have that such a very sad history, and Hitler sympathized with his people. That's why Hitler wanted to regain the power that Germany once had. So I'm not trying to justify Hitler's cruelty in here. I'm just somehow trying to tell you where he is coming from. But his pity towards his people is legit, but the process of how he avenged it is very monstrous. Hitler is actually not well loved in history. And if you're the type of students who would like to provoke people, never ever use Hitler to gain attention, because you will not like, especially in the world of social media now, you do not want to post anything about Hitler, because especially if the European see your TikTok or European see what you're posting, you will be ano cancel culture. Then you will be actually be ano you will receive so much hate. There was this time in soccer, in European soccer. I forgot what team he is playing in, but he is playing against Germany. So he's against Germany, and then when he made a goal, kasi in soccer, when you made a goal, you will make arrogant prancing eh. You make arrogant move after you hit a goal. So when he hit a goal, he did the Nazi salute, which is the like that. When he did the Nazi salute in front of the German people, grabe, the entire crowd exploded. They were so angry. They're throwing things at him, because that's how much Germans are somehow distancing themselves to Hitler. That's how much they denounce Hitler. There's no street named after Hitler. There's no city named after Hitler. They really want him to be erased in their history and memory. That's how much they understand the monstrosity that Hitler did. Meanwhile, in the Philippines, there are some situations that we are easy to forgive and easy to forget. But in Germany, they know what is wrong. They recognize what is wrong. Okay, so these actions alarmed Britain and France, yet did not do anything or in any countermeasure. So they learned that there's this man getting rise to power named Adolf Hitler. They learned about his ambition of making Germany great. It's like I know, it's like they know, but they have no measures or things to stop him. So they just let him be, thinking that it will not prosper that much. He's just this young, ambitious politician. That's how they view Hitler in the early times. And soon they will regret that type of attitude. Okay, another reason of World War II is what happened in Italy. So this is what's happening in Germany with Hitler's ambition. Meanwhile, in Italy, there's also the same man with the same set of mentality like he is, and that is Benito Mussolini. So birds of the same feather flock together. So if Hitler hates those British people and French people, that's what Mussolini felt as well. So the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So that type of mentality. So this Benito Mussolini have the same approach as well, the fascist mentality, wherein he believed that Italy should be uplifted, and military should be somehow level up or build up. Yon. So what Mussolini did, his group invaded Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is part of Africa. So when he invaded that, it's not allowed, especially in the Treaty of Versailles. No country should be colonizing another country for the sake of invasion or for the sake of expansion. But he did it. Mussolini still did it. What is the consequence? Consequence none, because that's one thing with the Treaty of Versailles, full or list of things not to do, but there's no consequence. So when Mussolini invaded Ethiopia, he received so many hate from other countries, but they weren't able to stop him. So during that time, the Ethiopian emperor Haile Selassie denounced the invasion and protested to the League of Nations. So basically, the leader of Ethiopia, the land invaded, is asking help to the League of Nations already, that this is not acceptable. However, the League of Nations urged its member not to sell arms to Italy. That's the only thing they could do. They could not attack Italy because they will be performing an act of war, which is not allowed in the Treaty of Versailles. So what they just did, they convinced their members, just don't sell arms to Italy. But that doesn't somehow that doesn't help much with the situation. So this is what happened. So Benito Mussolini and Hitler are already having this mutual understanding of what they want in Europe. Okay, so they have the same goal. Now, what they need is an ally, or what they need is a spark. If in World War I the spark is the death of Archduke Francis Ferdinand, in World War II the spark is what's happening in Spain. Okay, so Spain is actually not part of World War I. They're having their own business, colonizing other land. During this time, they're just enjoying somehow the imperialistic ways that they're doing. But in World War II, they became part of it because of this situation. So in 1931, the Spanish king was actually forced to step down. So from monarchy, they changed government. There's this two group in Spain during that time, the liberals and the socialists. So the Catholic Church lost its dominance in Spain, wherein they're no longer being the one that's deciding, or their voice is not that loud. Okay, so the clergy requested the old regime to be back. Of course, Catholic Church always favor monarchy because monarchy honors their religion. So because of the changing of government in Spain, also the limited voice and limited power of the Catholic Church. So basically, the clergymen wanted monarchy to be back. Meanwhile, others they want to change government. So in 1936, the group of generals led by Francisco Franco, so remember his name, Francisco Franco staged an uprising against the Republican government. So basically, Francisco Franco is a military person, but decided he is best fit to be the leader of Spain during that time. So Franco's followers were called the nationalists. Okay, so these nationalists, defenders of the government were called the Republicans or the Loyalists. So basically, if you support the government of Spain, you are called Republican or Loyalist. Meanwhile, the group of Francisco Franco who want to change the regime are called nationalists. So it is between now the nationalist and the Republican. So there's that chaos happening in Spain. Of course, Germany and Italy likes that. Okay, so there's something chaos happening in a far land. So Mussolini and Hitler decided to supply arms and manpower to Franco. So they choose Franco, or somehow the nationalists, to be their ally. So Mussolini and Hitler supplied Franco of the materials and the armament that he needed. So Italy and Germany use Spain to test their war machines and other war technology because they cannot use it in other country. It will look like as if they are invading because they're trying to use those military weaponry. But since they use the group of Franco to use that, they see what are the things that they need to fix from their types of guns, the types of Armalite, tanks, and all those things. They tend to use Spain as their science experiment. Okay, so what happened in there is that Francisco Franco was able to get the position, so he became the leader of Spain. So now they have another member, a new member of the group. So instead of just Mussolini and Hitler, they have Franco now. So three nation. So this is called the Rome-Berlin Axis. So they built it October 1936. So it's Italy, Germany, and Spain. So as you see, history repeats itself. They upgrade their military and they have alliances. So those are the usual step for an impending war. Okay, that's why if there are people who's like claiming, oh, World War III rather, World War III might happen, there's really a big possibility. And I'm not scaring you. We are just basing that assumption to the trend. Okay, because there's already been World War I, there's already been World War II, and the trend is having advanced technology, followed by alliances, followed by depression or struggle in economy. So those are the usual trend. So if World War III will occur, it is already expected because of the trend. Okay, so during this time, while Russia, also known as the Soviet Union, gave aid to the Republicans. So this is actually the opponent of Franco, the one that's helping the opponent of Franco. are the Russian. So there's already a hidden animosity between among so teammates, Italy, Germany, and the group of Franco versus the government of Spain and then Russia. So that's like the impending disagreement. Okay, so Britain and France wanted the Republican or the local the loyalists to win. However, they did not. Okay? During this time, USA remained neutral because it doesn't affect them. They don't care. So in 1939, the nationalists won the Spanish Civil War, and Hitler and Mussolini were very confident to take any actions against European nearby country. Now that they have Franco, now that they are confident that the tools that they supply Franco are very effective, it gives Hitler and Mussolini that sense of overconfidence. Now we got this. Parang we are ready. We're prepared. Okay. Now let's talk about the German expansion. Hitler became an aggressor. Like Hitler felt like Germany is ready and it start to get the lands that they lost. So in March 1936, while helping the nationalists of Spain, Germany sent troops to the Rhineland. So it actually violated the Treaty of Versailles. So Rhineland is a piece of land connecting Germany and France. So that Rhineland was actually former territory of Germany. But because of the Treaty of Versailles, it was taken by France. But as my dog is chaotic. Pero yun. So as that happened, as the chaos happening in Spain, the Rhineland was actually taken back by Hitler. Okay, and France has nothing to do with it. Parang they just they view actually that okay, you get the land that was formerly yours. So they are actually not really interpreting it as expansion during that time. So, but Britain saw it fit for Germany to get the Rhineland for it's from German territory before. So they thought, it's not invasion. They're just getting what is theirs first. So these are like the types of decision that if you will go back to history, you will like somehow tap those leaders that you should have seen it coming. And then France did not support Germany's move but could not engage without the British support. They don't want to engage war on Germany because that's one thing with France. They always need backup. They cannot win war on their own. They always need some tag team. Okay. And then the Anschluss. Okay. So the Anschluss is the union of Austria and Germany. Okay, so again, this is a form of expansion. So they formerly Austria and Hungary are always teammates of Germany, right? So in the as time progresses in this period, they get again Austria's support. Not literally the government and then they're trying to control it. Not really. It's like the government of Austria working together with Germany. So there's this union. So the Anschluss. Okay, so as you see, this is that. And so the involved parties are Germany, Austria, and then yan, Spain, France, Italy, United Kingdom, Russia right here. Okay. So yeah, I believe it's best that we start a new video because it's already less than 2 minutes. So you know the routine, click the same link and I'll see you by then.